Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Cape Crusader Cody, and we're keeping it geekly with our returning guest, Keith Champagne, and he's bringing a friend, Robb Miller. We're here to break down the Switch, Electricia, and everything in between. Keith, Robb, welcome to the show. How are you guys doing tonight?
How are you doing, Robb?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. Cody, you doing okay?
Dude, I am excited. You guys are, I just hit you. You look like you just recently funded. Congratulations on that. Electrifying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Electrifying.
So, Keith, we've had you on before a handful of times now. For anyone who is watching, give us a quick little recap of who you are and you know, how you got into comics.
So, my name is Keith Christian Champagne, and I am a longtime comic book artist / anchor / writer. I've spent decades wasting my life working with DC Comics and Marvel Comics.
Oh, there's Tom.
Oh, hey, Tom's here. Great. And like almost every other company in this industry. And now I tomcat around. No pun intended, Tom. And
I like that.
Try to have as much fun as I can.
Hey, welcome to the stream as well, Tom. We're joined here with Tom.
Sorry, I'm
Go
late.
ahead. Hey, not a problem at all. Not a problem. We were actually just starting introductions, so perfect timing. Robb, Tom, feel free to take the wheel. You guys are next.
You go, Robb. I'm still settling in.
Okay. Let's see. I've always liked comics and cartoon stuff. So always liked drawing and started making money on it though. In like '99, I did live caricatures at a theme park up here in Minnesota called Valley Fair, and then I did some state fairs. Just living a carny lifestyle. And living in a trailer with a bunch of stinky guys drinking beer and eating chips, and then I didn't really want to do that anymore, and just got a little more freelance, and ended up doing whatever I could, whether it's book illustration, spot illustrations, then doing some video production stuff here and there. Basically whatever I could, and then some comic book coloring from knowing these two fellas here was good. And then for 6 years I've been doing the Big Brother comics, BB Comics, and some other behind the scenes production stuff for them. Other than that, I'm just doing what I can as an artist to make money.
And where could everyone find you? I know we were talking backstage. You said you do commissions as well. Where can they find you if they're interested in getting a commission?
Oh, yeah. Well, if you go to robbmiller.com, ROBBMILLER.com, or Robb Miller Art on Instagram, or Rob Goblin. Those are the best ones.
No, thank you. And Tom, we're just doing introductions, so feel free to give us a little introduction of who you are and how you got into creating comics.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I really like this setup. It's very professional looking. I don't know if it's the lighting or if it's just you have a wallpaper in the background or a little bit of both. It's very nice. I spent the last 5 minutes admiring this. Is this what's that free program you guys use, like YouTubers use and stuff like that?
StreamYard is free, but you got to pay money to get that wallpaper. So I had to spice it up a little bit, add a little bit of flair, stand out from all the other ones.
Business. This is high production. No, I like it. I like it quite a bit. Okay, so I'm Tom Nguyen. I was born in America.
How do you pronounce your name again?
Nelson.
Nguyen.
I'll let you know what this is. Like, my last name is one of those that you pick how you want to say it, and chances are it's correct.
I was told I was going to lose brownie points if I didn't get it.
Well, Keith always likes to troll around. I know that's anyway. So see, I was born in Minneapolis, and I still live here in the suburbs of Minnesota, and I've always loved drawing. I feel like I've told the story like a million times this new year already. I've done so many interviews and podcasts. But yeah, long story short, just always loved drawing, love comic books. love superheroes. Whenever I drew as a kid, I always gravitated towards, the superhero stuff like Superman, Spider-Man, He-Man, some Transformers. Got into my teenage years, picked up some comics, started loving comic books, and found out that you could make a living drawing. And I'm like, this is for me. So, I after high school, I went to 1 year of college, dropped out, wasn't for me. And I broke in comics as an inker for DC Comics on a book called Major Bummer, which is it's got a very small cult following. It lasted 15 issues before it got canceled. But I've been keeping myself, fairly busy since then. Went on to do other titles like Superman, the Man of Steel, JLA, Green Lantern stuff, mostly as an inker. As the years went on, I started to dabble more in penciling, which was my original goal anyway. Breaking in as an inker was just a means to an end.
Mm-hmm.
And Keith could probably fill you in a little bit more on that since we worked together quite a bit. And he has a very similar parallel, except, he broke in as an inker, he parlayed that into writing, whereas I kind of went the penciling route. So, we have a lot of similarities in our career. And we've worked in the industry for a similar amount of years as well. But and then like Rob just said, I dabble a lot now in freelance work for TV shows and stuff. Mostly in the reality competition stuff. Big Brother, Wipeout, Double Dare on Nickelodeon, a couple other things coming up that unfortunately I'm not allowed to say anything quite yet until they give me the green light. But I've been dabbling mostly in TV the last few years. I still have a foot in comic books, just not as steady as I used to be. But no matter how little I feel like I work in comics, I'm so grateful for the titles that I have worked on, because really, I'm so lucky to have worked on certain issues that just keep me relevant to these, to this day, and keep people like you asking me to come on your show.
Hey, it's always an honor to get a guest on the show to talk, about comics, and we're here to talk about one of the most electrifying comics on Kickstarter, the Switch Electricia. How did you three meet? How did this comic come about?
Tom, you're doing a really good job talking. Why don't you just keep going?
Well, long story short, Keith just came up to me and said, "Hey, you want to do this? I'm writing it. This is what it's about. And you get to design the characters." Now he sent me like a couple like really rough stuff on like a couple designs, but he says, just do whatever you want. You'll be the co-creator, and before that, this is probably back in 2015, I want to say. But before that, Keith and I had worked on a few things already. He was the one that really went to bat for me as far as trying to get me to do penciling work with him. And I've had a blast. I've worked with writers as renowned as Dave Gibbons. Keith Champagne will always be my favorite.
The Keith Champagne.
It's funny. Keith. No, I've said this before in other shows, but Keith is like the only writer that I could read his script, and he literally doesn't care what I draw. I could change his script and draw something completely different. He won't care. So that's why I like working with Keith. No, but the concept was cool. I don't know. How I remembered it, the concept was pitched to me slightly different than how it came out. But Keith really played up, to my, I don't know if strength is the right word, but, my fondness for, drawing like cute, sexy, like women and stuff like that. For better or for worse, that is kind of a reputation of mine. Just judging by the amount of requests and commissions I get. It shows, this is, like a really scantily, you've seen her, it's a scantily clad electric girl, and I thought, why not? Just do it. So we did.
So is this what led to the creation of New Pain Productions? Or was that like kind of like in the works before this?
New Pain, you want me to?
Keep going. Keep going, Tom. You're doing great.
Let's see. Well, the only thing different between New Pain now and before New Pain even started, was just acquiring the name. And the name is like an amalgam of my name and Keith Champagne, Nguyen and Pain. But I think it might have started with Hack Pain. That's a different story, where we both had this crazy guy, crazy guy who just wouldn't leave us alone. A stalker for a better.
He did work. He did work in comics.
He did work in comics. He's a fellow. He's a fellow colleague.
I know
who
what this is.
He became a little cuckoo, and so he insulted my buddy Keith by calling him Keith Hack Pain, and I'm like, oh, that's not nice. And then, but the stuff he would, but the stuff he said to me in private was a lot worse. But we thought, well, the Hack Pain was kind of funny, and maybe we can play off that. How about New Pain? And there you go. That's how that started. We're gonna, regardless of whether we have New Pain or not, we're gonna probably keep making comics together till we die anyway. So might as well make it official somehow. And then during the original Kickstarter campaign, I was originally supposed to draw and color the entire thing. We got behind schedule. I couldn't color it all, and that's where my buddy Robb came in. He's got some really great software skills with illustration and Photoshop, and he's reliable, and he's a close buddy of mine. I've known him since we were 14, and it was one of the easiest phone calls I had to make. We just asking him to come on board and help us out, and he did gangbusters, and really bailed us out. Just really reliable, dependable guy. So that's New Pain for you.
That's awesome. And this was a comic, like you guys said, that came out a couple years ago with Dynamite, and now it's getting remastered. So give us a little bit about what's going into this. It's 112 pages, deluxe edition. Sounds like one big bang for your buck.
Well, I think it's going to be... Tom, do you mind if I talk a little bit?
Yeah. Well, so what it is that what we decided to do... Okay, I'll let Keith talk.
I think it's actually going to end up being 116 pages, because as I'm pulling stuff together for the sketchbook section, and these guys still need to send me their material for it, it's going to be hard to cram it all into 112. So I think we're going to expand it a little bit. But, the dialogue has been tweaked a bit here and there. I know Robb put some work into the coloring to kind of update it a little bit. And we're going to have, I have a pinup section with pinups by guys like Neil Edwards, comic book legend Keith Williams, Neto Diaz to the new back cover with a new anchor named Corey King, a couple more pinups, and then a lot of behind the scenes sketchbook stuff, maybe some script pages from the new one coming up to give people a hint of what that's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite sure yet. So we're trying to add a lot of bang to your buck in there. I honestly can say not one person that has ever read The Switch has disliked it. Like, everybody has always said, wow, this is great. Like, I really love this thing. And this is the first step to us bringing the character back, like, starting out with a one-shot comic at the end of the year, and then a new graphic novel, hopefully the year after that. And we'll keep expanding this world, and it's going to kind of tie into the other New Pain books that we've put together. We're sort of building up a little New Pain verse, or a little Switch verse, whatever you want to call it. A Nguyen verse, maybe, would be a good word for it.
Yeah, hack verse Pain.
Robb, how did it feel to come back on for colors and touch some things up?
Well, there were some pages I saw that I colored, and the panels didn't look the way I envisioned after, from how it translated. But I was super glad to go back. I knew which pages I wanted to just give a little more, polish to, redo, and so that was great. Just I can't wait to see the new colors and the new book.
Awesome. So I don't know how much I know we talked backstage about some of the future with this too. How does it feel to come back to the Switch and have a little bit of a roadmap established after, it's been kind of dormant for the last couple of years?
It feels really, really exciting, I think. Like, I really love these characters. I love the world that we set up in this book. I love writing books about sort of morally ambiguous characters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Electricia starts out as a villain, and she's kind of on a path to redemption throughout this story. But at the end of it, you can't really say that she's a good person or a superhero, but she's trying. And those are the kind of stories that are most fun for me to write. You can put a little edge into them, and the content can be a little more adult. The stakes are a little more real, and it just gives it a different flavor from a typical, superhero comic book, I guess.
Oh, that's
awesome. The best part. If I can interject, that's the best part about doing your creator-owned stuff is that you don't have corporate or editorial looking over your shoulder and dictating what you can and can't do, and handing us endless notes about, this needs to change, or we can't show this, we can't write that.
Mm-hmm.
We can literally do whatever we want, and it's creatively, it's the, what most creatives strive for in their career is just to do whatever they want and still have people praise them for their work, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, that has to be nice to be able to like really, flesh out your vision without having to worry about, not being able to go as far as you want to with it. That seems like it would really hamper the creative vision, having all those boundaries in place.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
Let me tell you, like the last time I wrote Superman for DC, I don't know if I've told you guys this story or not, but like at the very end of the production process, like a few weeks before the book was supposed to ship, the editor of the book reached out to me and said, "Hey, listen, we can't have Superman punch anybody. We have to change this." And I was
I remember this.
I was like, what? Superman's been punching people for like 80 years now, but suddenly, like, he's not allowed to punch anybody anymore in this one particular instance where he knocks out Sinestro. And it really took a lot of the joy out of writing Superman for me that day, or out of writing for DC or for Marvel or these other companies. When something arbitrary like that can be imposed on you, and maybe the editors don't understand how much time and effort goes into crafting a story, where if it builds up into the culmination, like with one big punch, and then they neuter it by taking that moment away and saying, no, he has to just, the time limit expires on this fight, basically.
Who was the editor?
It was a fellow, you might have heard of him. His name was Eddie Berganza.
Okay, I would have guessed that. Yeah, I was going to say, was it Eddie?
He worked there for quite some time.
He must have never played Injustice,
Yeah, I don't know. So, I mean, that really soured me on that. And I coincidentally haven't written anything for DC since then. Well, no, it's not true. I did write some Green Lantern stuff after that, but it never came out. It's still, I sell it at conventions now as a bootleg.
And so I think right now, let's go ahead and let's shock things up and take a look at this Kickstarter real quick and see what this campaign's all about. So congratulations once again, guys, on funding. Such an awesome thing to see. We are looking at the Switch Electricia, the remastered electrifying edition of the Switch graphic novel in soft cover for the first time at $3,597 of a $3,400 goal with 115 backers and 12 days left to go. Once again, congratulations, guys. How are you feeling right now?
It feels good. We're not looking to get rich off this campaign. We just want to get the book back out there. And so it's a low funding goal. We've been lucky to hit that goal. And now, let's see if we can drive it up a little bit and put that extra money into the next book.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, we're comfortable and satisfied that it's going to come out because of the backers. But, everything else from here is bonus. Not just to us and, the building the funds, but just that will help us put bonus material for the fans too. So everything from here is gravy. We have some time left. I'm going to throw up some more sketches just to try to pander to the fan base, and hopefully they'll bite and boost that number up.
Real quick, everyone that is watching, right there is the link in chat. Be sure to check this out with us. It is New Comic Book Day. Do not miss out on this awesome deal. Be sure to back and get this book in your hands when it drops. If you aren't able to back, simply putting it on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you can. Word of mouth is 100% free. Getting as many eyes on this as possible, what we're trying to do. And we are really close to hitting the first stretch goal. You get a Electricia trading card at $4,000. And then the Dr. Hate trading card at $45,000. And then Loverboy at $5,000. So some awesome trading cards. And look
Robb
at
Miller,
this cover.
Robb Miller designed those trading cards, by the way. He did a bang-up job on that stuff.
Thank you. It's
No, I
Tom's
love
artwork and your characters. You wrote them, so I just colored them.
I'm a big fan of Dr. Hate.
Oh, I just got an idea. Hey, Keith, I just have an idea. If we hit like a certain amount, because how many backers do we have? Cody, do you remember? 100,
115.
or something like that? 115? No, I could do like 115 original trading card like side headshots. Like 1 minute, like 1 to 2 minutes each. Just like a simple one, like I do my Batmans at shows.
Oh.
They'd love that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Okay, that's fine.
Whenever I open up a Gemini mailer and see something in there like that, I always lose it.
Are you a hardcore Gemini, like a comic slab grading guy? CGC?
No. Just whenever typically whenever you back up, it mostly comes in Gemini. So I was just using that, just kind of as generalized packaging.
I have a box of Gemini. Like I literally bought like 100 Gemini boxes to ship out stuff.
You're gonna need 15 more at this point.
Oh yeah. No, those are great. I've never had anyone complain about anything being damaged in those Gemini boxes. So they're great. The design is amazing.
So right here we are looking at the cover. This is gorgeous. I love the art on this. So give us a little bit of who we're looking at. What's happening right here.
Well, Keith told me, hey, draw something new and cool to help promote, and I said okay. And I remember he sent me like a design or a layout or two, but I don't even know like what it looked like or what I did with it. So I just, like I said earlier, Keith doesn't care. I'll draw whatever I want and just make sure it looks cool. And so this is the main character, Electricia. And I don't know what I was going for here. I mean, she's kind of like a dual personality if you've read the first book. And here it kind of shows that with her two identities. She's Electricia, but she's underneath bursting through the switch costume, which is her alter ego, when she wants to do good instead of being her bad evil former self. So it's just a generic comic book.
I feel like it's like she's in a fight where the camera's stopped in the middle of a fight. She's fighting somebody who's giving her money's worth, and the costume's tearing off, and she's like about to unleash something.
Well, you feel that, but I'm the artist, and that's not true. That's not no.
You're 100% wrong. Rob's like, I'm just trying here, man. I'm just trying.
No. I'll take it. I'll take it.
So right here, is this the cover B?
That was one of the original promo pieces. Rob, what's going on here?
That ass.
What did you do?
That asthma. And then down below we have some of the interiors as well, so let's go ahead and check out some of these lovely preview pages right here. Loving this color.
So these are some snippets from the first book. So I mean, really, we're just throwing up artwork just to get some eyes on it, but this is all
this is a nice
stuff.
like lead into everybody, because you got that establishing shot in the beginning, and then you see like right away, like a lot of good TV shows nowadays, they start into it. They don't like waste
not like
time.
a slow burn. Yeah,
it's not a slow burn. We're like already in the thick of it at this point, and it's like, okay, well, something's happened here. So what is it?
Yeah, we're far enough from the original campaign that we can show these pages as a good lead-in and not have to worry about people, bitching at us because, you're giving away too much for free already.
I love Loverboy's design too. Like the flowing mullet behind him, just gorgeous.
Oh yeah, that's based off another junior high and high school friend of mine. And back then he actually looked like that. He actually had a mullet. And he looked like, it's based off of him. So I've been trying to get him for years to be a cosplay table boy at my Comic-Con appearances wearing the Loverboy outfit.
Oh, that is awesome. So let's go ahead real quick. We'll check out some of these rewards. So for $10, you can get a digital copy of this. 116 pages estimated right now. At 25 or more, you can get the physical trade paperback. We have.
You don't have a $5 one? $5 one, you get your name printed in the back of the book if you submit the correct name.
No, there were some backers where their name was spelled wrong, and the first time we did that, they got very snippety about it. So I'm skipping that this time.
Oh man!
Can you believe this? We actually I'm gonna say I don't care. So we actually like lost a friend because he submitted his name wrong, and
That's not on you guys.
huh?
That's not
Yeah,
like
you're
on
right.
you.
He submitted his name wrong, and then like I got bitched at. And I'm like, okay.
That's wild. I mean,
So
like
much-
double
so-
check yourself, right? Like,
yeah.
So we
we're not doing
have-
that anymore.
at 30, the New Pain Universe digital. So this is going to be digital copies of all the comics you have in the New Pain universe as it stands.
Yeah, so far. Pretty much a copy
Alright.
of everything we put out so far, yeah.
And over 200 pages of content as well. So one hell of a tier to pledge to. We have at 50 or more New Pain 2-in-1. That's going to be the trade paperback and hardcover as well.
Yeah, we have the original hardcover edition. I don't have that many left, actually, but I have enough to, make a limited tier for the campaign. So
Oh,
people
I
can get
gotcha.
the new and the old put together.
And then we'll scroll through some of these other tiers as well. So we have like the New Pain universe for 60, a sketch trade paperback, plus a head sketch for 70. So what's this head sketch going to look like?
If you scroll down on the page, you'll see them because they're all pre-drawn by Mr. Tom over here, Tom Nguyen. But this
Go
right here is
ahead.
Neil. This is that shot up there was Neil Edwards' pinup. That's in the book.
Oh, yeah, that's gorgeous too. So right here are some of the headshots. So these are for 70 more. You
There
get
you
the trade paperback and some of these headshots, and these are gorgeous too. Or do they get to pick one, or is it just one of these randomized?
They can pick one, I suppose. I mean, I might draw a few ahead of time, but if they have a specific character they want, I don't mind drawing it.
Oh, that is cool.
From
and we
the
have a
Switch, right? The characters sketches from the Switch. Like you're not gonna do like Batman or somebody, right? Or whatever.
No,
Um,
it's literally just these sketches on the page right here that we're giving away as the headshot.
Oh, really? Are those
Yeah,
leftover or something?
No, they're the ones that you drew for this campaign, you dummy.
Oh, okay. Because apparently, yeah, I remember we were talking about this in 2018.
Yeah.
We have at 75 or more a painful new year. So this will come with a 16-month calendar. That's the first time I've ever seen a calendar like that involved in a comic Kickstarter. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was just trying to come up with something different that you don't often see on these campaigns. So I wouldn't mind having a New Pain calendar on my wall. So I'm going to make them whether or not anyone pledges for it or not.
And then we'll kind of skip ahead a little bit. We have some retailer tiers as well. But for $225, Electricia does Gotham City. So Tom, I'll let you take the wheel for this one.
Yeah, so I have a tiny stash of the first appearance of Jason Todd as the Red Hood. I worked on that. And, God, no one's got that yet. Come on, guys. What a deal. This is like mint condition. I'll
Yes.
sign it. I'll have Doug Mankey sign it. It's the Red Hood. So
Outstanding
I'm surprised
price
that this
too.
wasn't one of the first things to go. But hey, if no one gets it, I just keep it.
And then we have some other pinups and other tiers. You guys, right here is the link. Be sure to check those out. And be sure to back. Most importantly, it is New Comic Book Day. Do not miss out on this awesome campaign. So real quick, guys, after we've kind of taken a look at it, what would you like to say to anyone who might be on the fence about backing? If you just had a few seconds to kind of convince them otherwise.
Take it, Rob.
I would say if you like, comics like the Boys, kind of that flavor, unexpected, crazy, wacky, brutal, bloody, gory, sexy stuff. Back this one.
I would say listen to Rob.
I would say if you're on the fence, you're already thinking about doing it. You're going to do it anyway, so just hop over the fence.
You're gonna do it. Just do it anyway.
Listen to Rob. So after the Switch Electricia, what else is on the docket for you guys? Like, what else are you looking forward to within 2023? I know, Keith, you were saying earlier you had another Kickstarter that you were helping run, correct?
Yeah, I'm working on Jim Starlin's Dreadstar versus the Inevitable Kickstarter.
Wow.
Which is, before this podcast launched, a half an hour ago, whatever, it was $80 away from funding. So I think by the time we end, it'll probably get over the funding goal. But, Starlin is kicking ass. I don't know how old he is now, 70, 65. He's got to be up there somewhere. But he's doing the best work of his career. I'm lucky that I've gotten to read the whole thing ahead of time. And it just improves on Dreadstar
Jealous.
Returns, which you should be.
I am.
No, I mean, he put out Dreadstar Returns a couple of years ago, and it was, no one thought that Jim would be able to draw anymore because he had a hole blown through his drawing hand. And even he didn't think he could draw anymore, so he retired. But then after a couple of years of rehab and physical therapy, he managed to start drawing a little bit at a time and build up his drawing endurance.
I didn't even know this story.
Wow.
Yeah. So he came back better than ever, like against all odds. And now I feel like, and I don't know him very well. I mostly work through Ron Mars and our friend Chris. But I feel like he's got this second chance, and he just wants to draw fucking Dreadstar now. And he's, got another graphic novel he's already working on after this one.
He got that fire in him, man. It would be so hard to like lose that ability and like just come to terms with that and then get a second wind at it. That has to be awesome.
Yeah,
it's like Frank Frazetta, when he had a stroke and he couldn't use his right hand, so that he taught himself how to paint left-handed.
Wow. But
yeah,
Rob,
a documentary.
What about you guys? Do you guys have any other projects that you're working on outside of the Switch?
I'm working on a different graphic novel. It's not the superhero type. It's more of a historical type, educational historical. It's kind of based in Black history, and it's a story about how do I describe this? Yeah, I used to be able to describe it. It's been a while since someone asked me. Basically, the writer is a descendant of the original black slaves that came to a town called Hastings, and the book is called Welcome to Hastings, and it starts off in the 1800s. His ancestors. It tells a story about the rise and the fall of the black population in this small town America. That culminates in the KKK burning down the first black church in that town. And then, we explore why, there was a thriving black population back then, and why over the decades has it decreased. It goes through ups and downs, but, what a lot of people didn't know back then was that, this particular town, and which mirrors a lot of small America towns back in the 1800s, had just really thriving black populations that were doing well. They were part of politics, and they were educated. And this is a part of Black history that doesn't get talked about too often. And we're presenting it in graphic novel form. I'm almost halfway done with the book. And as soon as I'm done with the book, which should be by this summer, then I can jump, full bore into the next Switch project.
That's so cool too, that you guys are able to give a piece of history that's not like really taught in schools, or dove into that deep, being able to give that media to people to be able to, learn what really happened.
Well, thank you. I especially when you consider the authenticity of the source, the writer, and Keith has met him. In fact, Keith may help out in some way as far as putting this thing together as we approach wrapping up the book. I know the writer would like to meet up with Keith and consult him and pick his brain a little bit. But I always feel that any time that you can get an extra sliver or a thread of knowledge about history, it adds to the overall lore of Black history. It's no one's making anything up. No one's trying to start anything. We're literally just telling another thread of historical knowledge.
Well, that's
for Black
awesome.
History Month too. It's Black History Month now.
So, Rob, what about you? I know
right.
earlier you said you had some commissions that you could open up, but are any other projects or anything that you're working on as well?
I'm doing a little coursework online, and then I'm outside of comics. I'm trying to help a small studio that I helped establish years ago. We're getting rid of some equipment, so it's nothing too big and flashy, but it's taking a lot of my time away. But looking forward to doing the coloring work I can for Keith and a couple commissions that I got on my drawing table. So yeah.
No, that's awesome.
I would really like to get Robb. Robb is super talented. Like he can draw. He's a great colorist. His production knowledge is second to none. I want to get him to draw, like pencil, ink, and color, a complete 8-page Dr. Hate story as a backup for one of these books.
Ooh.
But he always sort of like resists anytime I mention, hey, why don't you do this? Like, why don't we do something like this? And then it never quite pans out. But I'm gonna reel that fish in at some point.
We'll keep it up there.
So, Rob, Tom, Keith, thank you three for swinging by, breaking down this awesome book and deep diving this Kickstarter with me. Before I let you guys go completely, I always love asking a little bit of advice for anyone who might be new listening in the stream. So with that being said, for anyone who's looking into getting into comics, whether it's writing, artists, being an art or a colorist, what type of advice would you offer them just to help them get motivated and starting?
Who wants to go first?
Not me.
Well, I mean, the advice I always give people is, I mean, obviously you need to have some kind of talent and some kind of persistence to break into this industry. I always tell people, once you break in, be somebody that people want to work with. Don't be an asshole. Don't be pretentious. Don't take it so seriously that people are like, oh my God, this guy is the biggest pain in the butt, or this girl is the biggest pain in the ass to work with. Like, she gives me headaches all day long. You know, just take it as it comes and, you know, enjoy the ride. And try to work with your friends as much as you can, because it's a hard job. But when you work with people that you like, it really makes those hard times a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd say, you know, try to meet as many people as you possibly can. It doesn't have to be in person, but even online. If you can't, like, say, go to a comic book convention, you don't have the means to actually travel to meet some of these pros, and just don't be afraid to ask questions. See how they work. See what they do differently than you do, and you know, and see if you can glean any knowledge as to why they're working and why you're aspiring. At the same time, be realistic and be open-minded to criticism.
Mm-hmm.
But be realistic as to where you are with talent-wise. Now, you know, I kind of half-jokingly say that you don't necessarily need any talent anymore to work. You just need to know the right people, which is kind of true, like, honestly. But you know, like, if you're, say, you're 30 and you're still drawing like you're 15, then, you know, you might be entering the world of delusion there, and maybe just kind of stick to it as a hobby. You know, I'm not discouraging you from doing what you want to do and become pro, but you have to be realistic too. You know, if you're still struggling and you're, like, you know, a full-grown adult and you draw like I did when I was 7, then maybe comics is not for you, and just stick to reading it.
Or at least writing it, right?
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, I don't know. And you know, that's part of listen to critique. You know, like, sometimes, I don't know, as I've gotten older, I'm more of a softie now, with how I give critiques. But you know, there's something to be said for brutally, straight to the point, honest critiques. But you have to do it in a very diplomatic, you know, constructive way. And the recipient, you know, you have to check your ego at the door enough to where, you know, do you want to get better or not? And part of getting better is listening, which is what Keith said. If you're a good listener, instead of trying to argue with people or trying to be all defensive, then you're easier to work with, you know, and people will read into that.
Yeah, I agree with everything they said. Like, managing expectations that you have and being flexible too with, you know, what you want to do. Like, you know, I'm not like a full-fledged professional comic book artist, but I've been able to make, you know, a decent living as a creative professional. And so I'm having gratitude for being able to have some clients that are enough to keep me working. That means a lot, instead of just being like, nope, I'm only doing this, I'm only doing that. And then, no, I'm not listening to what anybody says. Like Tom was saying too, like, you know, listen to people, but utilize what they tell you, and you can grow quicker. And there's a lot of resources online that weren't there when we were young. We were young kids, so you can grow your knowledge. Yeah.
What's that one saying? You have to have 2 out of 3 things. Keith, you know what I'm talking about? You have to have 2 out of 3 things, and you'll be hireable. Good,
talent,
fast,
personality,
Yeah, something like that. Come on, man.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think that was it. It was just talent.
I think it sounded good. It sounded good,
No,
though.
no, I think it's like you have to. Okay, you have to be good.
You have to be good, lucky,
be good,
or
fast, and nice. Pick 2 out of the 3 things, and you should be like safe getting work.
Yeah.
Just like the saying, you know.
No, that is awesome. Thank you, 3, for the awesome advice and the awesome chat. Everyone watching, right here is the link to back this campaign. Do not miss out. You only have 12 days left to go, so be sure to back today, or at least share it where you can. Appreciate everyone stopping in. This has been a lovely Wednesday evening. With that being said, it's time for us to wrap up. I hope you all have an awesome night, but most importantly, keep it geekly.